Hi, everybody. Welcome to Paint, Flowers, and More with Megan Gill. That's me. And I am going to paint a bunny today. So, as you can tell up here in the right-hand corner, or this, or I can't ever figure it out. Oh, well. Anyways, we are going to paint a bunny. So I have the reference up here at the top to see how that's going to go today. I have actually 3 cameras on me today, and we'll see how it goes. If not, I might just edit them out. Who knows? All right, so let's get started. And let's go to this one here. All right, so as you can tell, I have nothing right here, and I have absolutely nothing where, like, I haven't drawn it out at all. Because I wanted to challenge myself today, of course, because I do that every time I'm on, right, is challenge myself. So I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. And I, as you can tell, have nothing on my paper. I have only my watercolors. I do not even have a pencil anywhere that I can see. That's always fun. And I'm trying to spray this. There we go. There it's coming. All right. And I think I'm only going to use, this is an Escada. You can't even see what it is because I've used it so much. But I believe it's a number 6. And we're just going to play with this. So before I get started, of course, I'm going to need to do this. You are witnessing me do this live, and you are witnessing me not practicing or drawing it out or anything like that. So this is what we've got. So I'm going to set it for 20 minutes. And here we go. All right. So one of the things that I'm going to do with this bunny is I am going to try. So I have to get some paint here to play with. This one is a brown bunny, but that doesn't mean I have to make it brown. And I want to try to do this in as little strokes as possible. So I am going to just come in, and you all are seeing what I'm seeing on the screen here and how I'm actually doing this. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of coming in and looking at the shapes of the ears, because, well, what bunny do you gotta love that. Now, one of the things about actually painting with watercolor is that, like, if you're drawing it, you get to plan out those whites. So you are witnessing me actually coming in and having to plan those out without planning them. That's always fun. I will tell you, every time I seem to do bunnies, they start to look really, really mean. So maybe I won't make a mean bunny, but I am going to go ahead and add just a little nose here and that little cute mouth. See if I can't get that in there. Okay, so this looks a little bit longer, doesn't it? So I just kind of keep playing with it. And he's just a little round old thing, so I'm just going to come in and make him round. Now, do you see that I've only used kind of straight lines? I haven't really gone in here and done too much. Now see, that's the white, so I'm not going to touch that, but it does have a little bit of feet there, right? And it has this bottom half here that's really dark. And then there is this foot. Now, here's the foot. And I swear that looks like, maybe that's an egg. Oh, well, we're not going to do that. And I'm going to come in, and it's a light wash right now. So I can get away with doing as little as possible, And I have all kinds of colors over here on my palette that I'm just kind of using. As you can tell, it even has nasty hair in it. That was awful. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to work on the actual, there's this, I'm going to call it a roll, right? For the shape of the white. And then there's a triangle right here at the edge. And then there's the stomach area that comes in. Now that is a lot darker. Like in your brain, you're going, but that's white. You should paint it white. But is it white? Like, I want you to really think about when you see an image, is it really white? Like, your brain is telling you that it's one color, but I want you to really look into it and be an eyedropper. You know, that tool in Photoshop, not that everybody uses Photoshop, but you know, where you could take an eyedropper and actually go to that pixel and say, what color is this? Well, that's what I want you to train your eye to do. Okay, so I've got a little bunny down here. I like what I've got so far. It looks like, and I'm really working on just the darks right now and coming in and making them a little bit darker. Now, with that being said, look at how dark this spot is. And you don't even see the other eye, which is kind of dangerous because he might look lopsided at that point. Okay, and I just got this reference offline. It was for a dental or something. Maybe it's because, you know, bunnies bring candy and it rots your teeth. I'm not sure. But notice how what I'm doing is I'm literally just using this as my shading. Now, let's go into a little bit of a darker color. So this is like a Payne's gray. I'm going to do a little bit right there. And I'm going to do a little bit right in here. Because remember what I said about how this area was a lot darker than we think it is? So the more I add to this lightly, the more I can add some shading to it. Which this whole little side here is a little bit shaded, isn't it? So I'm adding all my principles that I know, as in I started with the outline. I'm going in and I'm trying to make those lights as light as possible with some shading. And so I have a nice little wash, and now I'm starting to build up color as I go along. Now, who knows if this is actually going to take 20 minutes or not? It could take more. I sometimes don't know what I'm getting into. Okay, now, but I want you to notice how most of my lines are straight lines. It's not, you know, I don't have to always do rounded lines because, you know, hey, this bunny is round and whatever. So I'm going to get me some pink here and I'm going to add some pink where I see it. So notice I'm just adding it right on top. That was a lot of pink. Gotta love it when I go all crazy. Okay, and where else do I see pink? Do I see it anywhere else? Well, I don't see it that bright, that's for sure. So I'm going to get a little bit of water here and wipe it off and make that a little bit lighter. Okay, I am going to see, I'm making that little bottom half of this mouth. I think that's always so cute when the little bunnies have just a little bitty pink. But they sometimes have pink up here in their eyes. You know, there's blood up there, you know, like we're raw blood. We all have blood in them ourselves. So we have to actually like make it happen. Which means sometimes we can have these pink streaks in here, which makes this just even more sweet. You don't have to do that. Now, here I've done that. So, but another good shadow color is gray. Well, purple makes an absolutely, oh, that's not purple. That was blue. But let's use it anyways. So I've got a blue. I don't know. I'm using Koi watercolors today. They're some of my favorites. And I'm going to just come in and start making where the darks are now. So I'm back to the darks, lightly building them up with a light wash of just a light wash. Coming in here and letting all of that water and paint go wherever it wants to. And adding the darks to make it look like we know what we're doing. Do we look like we know what we're doing yet? I'm not feeling it. Okay, but that's the key here, is that you can't give up. And that's one of the things I want you to know, is that you don't have to get everything perfect the first time. It's called practice. Each one of these little practices that I do helps me in some way. Now, that was a little dark, so I'm going to wipe it off and get a light water wash and add a little bit there. All right. Now, he's a really dark bunny on the top. Like, you know, he has this, what do you call it? Well, he's a brown bunny, right? So that means that this whole spot needs to be a little bit brown. So the problem that I just did was that that's really, really dark. And he's got this white spot right here. So I'm going to dry off my brush and I'm going to come in here and lightly take away that little highlight there. Now, where else can we do that? There's a highlight right here. That might be too dry to do that. Yep, that's too dry. I like that pink spot. I think I'm going to go, I want that purple. I'm still wanting purple here. I like purple when I'm dealing with a yellow brown. I think it pops a little bit. And that's the key with watercolor, is that you can, like, don't just think that you have to use what you see. You got to be smarter than that, and you got to start looking at, how can I make this more interesting? What colors can I use? The key is that we get the values right, which right now, this right here is just too dark. So I could do a couple things here. I could make, there's also a dark right here. You see how there's this dark and then there's this light thing right here? But it's also awfully brown, and I've got that blue. I'm going to do a light wash of purple here. Now that's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly take some water, just clean water, and see how I'm making that round a little bit. Now, I don't know about you all, but this is becoming a watered down mess. So what happens when that happens is that we need to dry it. So I have less than 10 minutes, folks. Am I going to make it? I don't know. Oh boy. At least I laugh at myself, right? Getting a little nervous, just a tad. All right. And one of the things is, when you are looking, I do a timed exercise on purpose because I'm trying to just get the gist of things. I don't really want to work out all the little baby details. I want to build up that muscle of being able to see things and to be able to get the colors unique. And that's working pretty good. There's this whole spot right here. I think I'm going to need to dry this. Now, do we get to stop the timer if we're drying? I think we do. I think we get to stop the timer. I think we get to pause it. That is the thing about watercolor, is that when you are getting to be frustrated like this, you got to move on to something else. So another thing that I could do right now is I could work on some green. Like, what's the background of this? And I could come in here and really, now notice I am kind of contaminating all my colors on purpose, because that means they'll all go together eventually. And let's get some green back here. Now, this is giving that an opportunity to rest down there at the bottom, or, our bunny. Because, as we know, little bunny foo-foos hopping through the forest, picking up the field mice and popping them on the head. Now, I am going to go straight into that and look at that. Oh my. Now, I wiped off my brush and I went to pure water. And now I'm moving it around. Pure water. So my point to that is sometimes it's okay to just go pure color. Don't come over here. Don't water it down. Use it on the actual piece of paper and see what you get. Now, that is a little bright. But remember, it dries lighter than it is. Now, also notice I am sort of touching my bunny, but it's kind of dry in those areas, so it's actually working okay. And I'm also bringing it down into some of these greens. Now, let's say I come in and get some green here. Now that I've done that, it almost looks like my bunny is very light compared to all of this. But remember, it all dries lighter than it is. Not bad. But I still think I need to do that. I'm pausing with 6 minutes. Okay. So now I have my handy dandy heat it tool. And I'm going to do this real quick. You could let it dry or make it dry. I like to make it dry more than anything. And just dry it enough to where it's damp. It's not like going to bleed everywhere. And you'll see how it's kind of lightly coming. It's kind of doing its thing. I kind of like that. I'm feeling a little baby bunny. Okay, now. Okay, I'm going to go back to my timer on. 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left. Okay, so what can we do now? Now we can go into some really dark spots to see if we can't really make him pop out. So I am going to go back to some brown. And I'm going to come in here and very lightly see if I can't really look at the shape. And it's the dark parts that help us define the edges here. You see that? Now I have an edge of that. That's really, really nice. I'm going to come in here and do this. Okay, so there is that, and it kind of comes out. There's this, that like that. That looks good. Now, notice I'm doing it with a brown because my bunny's basically brown. And I'm just coming in and adding a light little, well, it's kind of a darker color. I'm trying not to be a wimp about it. But you see how all of a sudden that just like messed up the face a little bit? I could have left that blurry. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some water and I'm going to blur that out a little bit. And there's this whole little spot here, which this is actually gray a little bit. So do you see how just by adding a little bit of color to that, it distinguishes between the two? And that is also really dark underneath. So I'm going to just add some darkness to that. All right, I'm liking that. Now let's go back into some brown. I don't have a lot of water. I'm not dealing with a lot of water here. I'm dealing mostly with, and I'm paint coming in now. Since I already did the green, I'm going right on top of it, knowing that I'm probably going to have to come back in with some do that. But do you see how when I start adding these little baby details, we're starting to look like a little cute bunny. Okay, now I have this light greeny brown color happening here. Well, it would be reflected in Mr. Bunny here. So I'm actually going to put a little bit right in here. Now remember, that is a white area. So clean brush, I've put it on and I'm going to take it away a little bit. And you see how when I take it away a little bit, it softens it up, but it's still giving me a little bit of that hint of green. I could even go real green if I wanted to right there and let it go where it needs to go. I also like this. This could be green. And this could be green. Now, I still feel like there's some more pink in this area. Now, one of the things that's different in my drawing versus that is this right here, and that's what's causing me a little bit of a problem. So I can do some plastic surgery right about now. Do you see what I just did there? Oh, that's much better. Now, you don't have to make this perfect. Remember that. You don't have to make things perfect. All right. Isn't he cute? I think he's pretty cute. Now, I'm just adding a little bit more here. I feel like this needs to come in. I feel like that eye needs to be a little bit darker, don't you? All right. So if I was, oh, that's really red. But I kind of like it. I'm going to do that a little bit right here and a little bit right here. Oh, he's getting to be so cute. All right, I'm going to make those eyeballs a little bit darker. All right, so let's come in here with some black. It should be dry, so I shouldn't have to do too much. So I'm coming in. Oh, I like it. But what else is dark in this guy? That little mouth. Add just a little bit of a black dot right in there. Okay. There's also a little darkness right in there, which I might have to take out a little bit of it. You don't want him to have a dirty nose. Okay. And where else is it dark on him? Right there. Okay. That was the timer. All right. How did I do for 20 minutes? What do we think? You will have to let me know in the comments how I did for 20 minutes. Not bad. I feel like this part right here, notice I'm still working. I can't let it go. Can't let it go, people. Can't let it go. There's this darker spot right here. Oh, that was nice. And right in here. And let's do another one in here. Okay. So that is my 20-minute bunny that I did not draw beforehand, that I freehanded. And what we learned here today was, oh, I don't like what I just did. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So wet brush and then dry brush. We also learned that Megan only used one camera the whole time, but she was on a time constraint, okay? You like the way I talk in third person. I'm going to add a little bit more of woo, woo. I like that. As Bob said, we must make noise while we do this. It is the best. Okay. And that's it. Now, you know, something that I haven't been doing on these is my pen, and I love my pen. So we are going to draw this quickly. We are going to find a pen, which Megan does not have anywhere that she has around her. So maybe Megan's not going to do that. But that doesn't mean Megan can't take a color pencil. I'm working on it. I'm trying. Deep Indigo. That's what we're going to go with. Deep Indigo. And get it at least a little dry. And show you what a pencil would look like instead of a pen, because I cannot believe I do not have a pen just sitting where I can see one. Doesn't surprise me. Okay, so this is what I would do. This is a Inktense Deep Indigo, and it's ink. It's a watercolor pencil, but it's ink, and it's one of my, like, they're my favorite things. So look at what I'm doing. I'm actually coming in here, and now I'm actually using a pencil to come in and draw this bunny. And you're like, that's kind of opposite. Yes, but it was a great lesson. It was a lesson in seeing only shapes and colors of shapes, like the shape and making the shape a color or the color of a shape. Did anybody get that? That was a lot. And oh, that is getting to be cuter. Okay, and then we do a little bit of this. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hint that there's an eye there because it looks weird. It looks like he's got one eyeball. Come in. Now, the thing about Inktense is, like I said, they are watercolor, but when they dry permanently. So you can like watercolor pencils, you can reconstitute, but you can't do that with these. Once this dries, it is what it is, folks. And that is a good thing and sometimes a bad thing. Depends on what you are using them for. But I really do like the soft look that they give things. Like, it just kind of adds some dimension to things. And you can always, I call it stealing, but you're not. I'm stealing and making this line softer while making a shadow along the edge. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my 20-minute bunny with a little bit more, with just a little bit more, right? And I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please sign up for my newsletter down below. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel or my socials. I will talk to you next time, and I hope you enjoy this bunny. And if you do it, I would love to see it. So post it in the comments, and I will definitely comment on them. Bye. Thank you.